Hi guys, okay, I have to do the review for this now or I'm literally like never gonna do it. Hold on, I actually need some soda. I just see it right here in the fridge. And I do the fridge videos because it's literally the best lighting. Like, you can't even attack me for that. It honestly doesn't taste as disgusting as I thought it would. Because it's from last night. I literally finished reading this like almost 2 weeks ago. It took me forever to read this. First of all, there's like, I don't know if you can tell, but there's so many words on the page. There's so many words on the page. Like, I don't know if that's a lot of words for you, but it's a lot of words for me. And there's like almost 500 pages in this book. I'm talking about Trouble by Nyla K. She also wrote For the Fans, which is what I finished reading in December. And this is the only reason why I bought this. I don't buy books with covers like this. But, I mean, he looks pretty fine. So, I wonder who the model is. This is how the back looks. And this like never happens because I treat my books so well. But look at how this, I did all that. That was honestly by accident. Like, I did all of that. And then this sunflower has a huge meaning in the story, if you've read it. So it's called Just Trouble by Nyla K, and it is a I guess what everyone calls a MM romance, male to male. I almost DNF'd this book like 5 times, and it's not from the writing. There's very few spots in the writing that were like cringe. There was very few parts of it that were cringe. That did not make me want to DNF it. What made me want to DNF it was the fact, spoiler warning, the fact that there is a man that identifies as straight because he has a wife, and that, yeah, he doesn't have kids, that he has a wife, and he's a pastor, and he just doesn't want to come to the terms of his feelings. I know sexuality is very like a spectrum. It's very confusing, but it's the fact that he kept very much so like rejecting it, even though he knew that at least a part of him was attracted to men, especially Tate. Tate is the main guy here, and then Lance is the pastor. It's the fact that he just like kept denying it and refusing it, that he was like, because it would switch POVs, like internally rejecting that he was attracted to men. It's just like, can you please just, like, you can't even admit it to yourself. Like, I can only imagine and know like how many people in real life are like this. And that is literally the sole factor of why I almost DNF'd it like 5 times. Because the internal battle of that, like when it was in his POV and it would just talk about like his stream of consciousness, like inner monologue, it's just so annoying. I don't know, like I guess that's still part of like the character development, right? But it's just like so annoying to constantly be reading that. I'm just like, okay, we get it, Lance, like you have internalized homophobia, like, but you are very much attracted to Tate. I don't know actually if he is attracted to other men, but he is very much in love with Tate, and they had met in college. And the amount of twists in this book is actually insane. Like, when there was a big twist, I was like, whoa. I'm not gonna tell you the twists. And then there's another twist not that much later, and I was like, whoa, like, what? I was like, okay, wait, so we thought it was this, but then it's actually this. Okay, whoa. But even though those twists were crazy, I still thought the book was good. I thought, okay, so obviously the spice level of this one is very high. Like, there's a lot of spice. And to be honest, I don't think it takes away from the plot. I know a lot of people think that if your entire novel is just spice, then like you really have no plot if the spice is reliant off the plot. But I feel like it just went in tandem. I don't know. I did find it to be, not that it had to be necessary, but it's just like I feel like it was part of the story, and that, you know, it's part of like real life. It's very messy, very chaotic. So many ups and downs, twists and turns, and it's just like a mirror image of like real life, right? And a lot of this felt very true. And I didn't know until later. Well, actually, I did know in the beginning, to be honest, because there actually is a warning. This is part of a, well, it's not part of a series. It's in the same universe as her book called Push, and then her other book called Pull. So that's like a duology kind of, I think. And then this is completely separate from that. However, the characters are from the same universe. So there's characters from Push and Pull in this story, but it's not centralized around those characters in that story. But Tate actually was, I think, kind of a character. He wasn't like a main character, but he was like a side character in those stories. And so Nyla was like, let me just make a story out of him. I feel like there's a lot there that we can unpack and uncover. And oh boy, was there. She even said at the end of the book that this is totally not the last time we're gonna see them. I don't know if that's gonna be like in a novella or like a sequel or what, but there's gonna be more of them. And this is how, I'm just trying to make sure it's like PG. I love how in the chapter headings for Tate, it's this, because he's like uber rich, which means like super rich, not like Uber, the driving app. And then for Lance, it was, where is that? For Lance, it's the cross, because he's the pastor. I thought it was good. So I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Basically, Tate and Lance meet in college. Tate is gay, like 100% gay since then. Loves men. Loves Lance. Lance ends up, they end up like kind of hooking up, but not like fully. They end up like playing around a lot. That, I guess, opens up Lance to that part of himself. He ends up being like, I can't do this. Like, this is not who I am. And wants to go the straight route because of what everyone deems is okay. Gets a wife, gets married. Doesn't have kids. They've prolonged it for a long time because he knows deep down he wants Tate. Never think he would see Tate again, but he's always thinking about him. Come to find out, his wife was like, yeah, you like literally say Tate's name in your sleep a lot. This is like current day, not what I'm saying. And then Tate and them meet in the first chapter again after like 15 or 16 years that they haven't seen each other since college, since Lance left them like that. And in the most awkward environment at the club. So yeah, this is definitely like 20 and over book, I would say, to be honest. I was reading stuff like this at 18, but I don't recommend reading this if you're 18. Just stick to 20 years old. But yeah, it's very spicy. I thought it was well written. I don't think there was anything horrible about it. Other than it does feel long, like you're reading a lot. And then also I was like watching a lot of shows in between this and just reading other kinds of books too in between this, so that's what made it take forever too, honestly. But yeah, I would actually recommend this. Other than those couple of things that were a little cringe, I don't know like how to explain it, but like certain things were cringe here and there, like certain phrases and sentences, but overall I think the writing was done, and I don't think it felt like a fanfic really. So that is my review on Trouble by Nyla K. I don't know what else to say about it. I think it was just good, and I do recommend it if you want to read a gay love story.